Welcome back, class. In this video we're going to learn about negative exponents. In math, negative exponents are kind of messy, so we want to try and get rid of all negative exponents. We don't like to have those. So this video is going to be about how to get rid of negative exponents. The reason why we don't like negative exponents in math is because we all know what x squared means. X squared means x times x. However, it's trickier to explain what x raised to the negative second power means. That's kind of a trickier concept to understand, so if we can get rid of that negative exponent, anytime we can get rid of it, we want to get rid of that negative exponent. So let me start off this tutorial by just kind of showing you the rules of negative exponents. So if you have x raised to the negative second power, really what that is we just move the x to the denominator. We move it down below our equation, our division bar. We move it down below our division bar. We keep the 2, but since we moved x down into the denominator, we can get rid of the negative in front of the 2. So x raised to the negative second power is really just equal to 1 over x squared. Okay? The rule for negative exponents also works in reverse. If we had 1 over x to the negative second power, to get rid of that negative exponent, we just move our x up to the numerator, get rid of the negative sign, keep the 2, and so we'd end up with x squared over 1, or just x squared. Okay, so that's the rule of negative exponents, and it's one thing to see the rule, but it's another thing to actually practice it and see how it works in equations and expressions. So I have a few examples for us to practice how to use this rule to get rid of negative exponents, and let's take a look at that first example. Alright, in this example we do have a negative exponent up here. It's v raised to the negative second power. Okay, and we want to get rid of that v raised to the negative second power. So really what we're doing, again, we're keeping the v to the second power, but we're just moving it down to the denominator. Okay, so let me rewrite this thing, and it's super important. If I can tell you one tip today, it's that you have to write these things out. You cannot do this kind of thing in your head. Okay, so you have to rewrite this so that it makes sense. So let me rewrite this equation here. I've got 2 on top now. My v raised to the negative second power, that moved to the bottom. So on bottom I have 4. I have a v squared. And then I also have this v squared that I moved from the numerator down to the denominator. Okay, so I can simplify this thing now. Okay, I'm going to keep that 2 on top. I'm going to keep that 4 on the bottom. But v squared times v squared is really v to the 4th. Okay, so that's what it looks like so far. And again, though, I can simplify this because 2 goes into 4 2 times. So this 2 over 4 reduces to 1 over 2 times v to the 4th. My 4 got a little messed up there, but this is the simplification of our starting point over here. Okay, so that starting point reduces to 1 over 2v to the 4th power. Okay, we removed that negative exponent from the numerator, we moved it down to the denominator, and then we simplified. Okay, so that's kind of a straightforward one there. Let's look at an example that's a little more complicated. Alright, in this example we have 2 negative exponents. We've got a negative exponent on the numerator, this y to the negative third power. We need to move that to the denominator. But we also have this x to the negative second power that we need to move up to the numerator. Okay, so we need to kind of flip-flop that y and that x. Okay, so again, super important that you rewrite this thing. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite the numerator 2x to the fourth, and then remember I'm moving this x to the negative second up on top, so I'm also going to have x squared. I got rid of the negative in front of that 2 by moving it up to the numerator. Okay, then I'm going to rewrite my denominator. On my denominator I have 2y, and then also I'm moving this y to the negative third down to the bottom, so I'm going to have times y to the third. I got rid of the negative by moving it down to the denominator. Okay, so again, this is a great start. Now I just need to simplify it. So let's start with that numerator. 2 times x to the fourth times x squared is going to be 2x to the sixth. Okay, I can move on to the denominator now. When I move to the denominator, I've got 2 over y times y to the third is going to be y to the fourth. So I'm just about finished. There's one last thing I can do to simplify this, and that is my 2 in my numerator can cancel out my 2 in my denominator. So to completely simplify this thing, it's going to be x to the sixth power over y to the fourth power. That's my final simplification. So all this mess over here, when I simplify it down to its most simple form, it simplifies to x to the sixth over y to the fourth. Great. If you can do an example like that, you're going to be in really good shape. Let's do one last example just to make sure that we understand everything. Here we go. Here's example number 3. This is a great chance for you, if you feel like you're starting to get this, to pause the video and try this one out on your own, and then watch the video and see if you got the same answer as me. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. In this case, I have 2 negative exponents, and I don't like negative exponents. They complicate things. They're messy. Again, it's just not polite mathematics to have a negative exponent. So I'm going to take this u to the negative second power, and I'm going to move it up to the numerator. Then I'm going to take this v to the negative fourth power, and I'm also going to move it up to the numerator. Okay, so let me rewrite this thing. Again, please do not try and do this in your head. It will not work, okay? If I thought that it was a good idea to do it in your head, I'd say, yeah, try it in your head. But I'm telling you, bad things happen when you try and do this in your head. So just walk through the steps. It doesn't take that long to do. In the numerator, I started off with a 2 times u. Okay, then I'm going to add, or I'm not going to add, but I'm going to multiply this u squared. It used to be u to the negative second power, but I got rid of that negative by moving the u up to the numerator. Okay, then I also have this v to the fourth power. Okay, and again, it used to be v to the negative fourth power, but I removed that negative by moving my v up to the numerator. I've got my numerator set. Now it's time to set my denominator. And the only thing that's left in my denominator, because my u to the negative 2 moved and my v to the negative fourth moved, so the only thing that's left down there is just a 2. Okay, so now that I have this thing rewritten, I can work to simplify it. Okay, so on top I have a 2, and then I've got a u to the first power and a u to the second power, so when I combine those I have u to the third power, and I have a v to the fourth power. All of that's in my numerator, and in my denominator I have a 2. I'm almost there. It looks like I can do one last simplification. Okay, and that is, if I have a 2 in the numerator, it can cancel out a 2 in the denominator. So those 2's cancel each other out. What I'm left with then is u to the third times v to the fourth, and all of that over 1. In fact, I could get rid of that because I know that when you divide by 1, that's really the same as not having a denominator at all. So really this is just u to the third times v to the fourth. Hopefully that's the same answer that you came up with. When I simplify this expression over here, I simplify it to its simplest form. I get u to the third times v to the fourth. I hope this tutorial helps you with your homework. If you have any questions, make sure that you jot them down so I can answer them in class. And I hope it comes easy to you. Thanks.